Welcome once again to the Party of One podcast, the actual play RPG podcast where the gaming table is always set for two. I'm your host as always, Jeff Stormer, and this week I am very, very excited to be joined once again by Sasha Reneau for another game of Spindlewheel, one of my favorite games of all time. Spindlewheel is an interpretive storytelling game built around a tarot-like card deck full of interesting art and text and wonderful imagery, and it is a really special and cool game. It is also currently on Kickstarter. It is blowing up on Kickstarter. It is already well past funded. You can go to bit.ly/spindlestarter to back the Kickstarter and get your own deck. There are going to be physical decks. There is going to be guest art. I'm really, really excited to take a moment and talk about Spindlewheel. This game is, like I said, one of my favorite games ever. I love Spindlewheel. I love Spindlewheel decks. And I love games based on Spindlewheel. I've written at least one. They're just really cool and special and interesting, and I am such a huge fan. I've been personally waiting for this Kickstarter for a very long time. Probably since I played it with Sasha last time. So I cannot recommend enough that you go to bit.ly/spindlestarter, back the Kickstarter, get your own Spindlewheel deck, your own copy of the Spindlewheel game. It's really cool and special. I cannot recommend it enough. You can find more information about Spindlewheel, as well as Sasha's podcast, Spindlewheel Stories, which shows you the game as it develops into its final form. You can find links to both of those in the show notes. Now, before we dive in, two quick things. One, this episode's a little bit on the longer side. I debated putting it out in two parts, but once I kind of got into it and got into the editing room, I realized it just flowed so well as a single episode, and it was kind of right on that line. I really don't like episodes to go past an hour and a half, but like this one was right on that line. Like it's an hour 40, hour 45 maybe, but it was a tight enough episode that like I felt like it's best as a single continuous story. You're welcome to listen to it in multiple parts, but I felt like it was doing the episode itself a disservice to release it in two parts, which is to say, strap yourself in, it's a long ride. The other thing to say is, before we dive in, this episode is brought to you by the Lullaby Lounge at twitch.tv/Kate Nix. The Lullaby Lounge is a weekly Twitch live stream in which award-winning polymath of stage and stream, Kate Nix, presents a variety of wonderful cover songs, originals. There is dancing, there is music, there are characters, there are puppets. It is a wonderful time. Like I've been saying the last few weeks, it is my favorite weekly live stream to tune into and just like relax and enjoy. I always hang out in the Thursday replay because Tuesday nights are usually release nights, so I'm usually scrambling to get an episode out. But I love this stream. I love it a lot. I enjoy it. I recommend you go check it out at twitch.tv/Kate Nix. And now, with that said, let's throw it over to me in the past so that he can get started with the show. Take it past me. Thanks, past me. This week, I'm pretty freaking jazzed, is how I would specifically describe how I'm feeling, to be joined once again by my good friend, Sasha Reneau. Sasha, thank you so much for coming back on Party of One.
It's an absolute delight to be back. Hey, it's me.
I'm happy to have you back. I'm really excited to be playing this game again. I'm excited to be playing this game in support of a Kickstarter, because I said this to you off mic, I'm going to say it on mic. I like this game.
What?
I'm a fan of this game.
I'm so pleased to hear that.
Good. I'm glad. So real quick, speaking of the game that we're playing, why don't you take a moment and let the lovely listeners at home know about anything you've got going on that you might want them to know about?
Sure. Funny you should mention, because I do have a thing that I would love for people to check out, which is that Spindlewheel is kickstarting. It's on Kickstarter. It's right now. As I speak into this microphone, it is kickstarting, and you can check it out at bit.ly/spindlestarter. That's what the address is for that. And Spindlewheel, what is it, you ask? Well, I'm so glad that you asked. It's a tarot-like storytelling game, where you use the concepts from the cards to tell a story with your friends.
Dope. We played it, last time we played it on the show was one of those experiences that I walked away from it, like, having changed, like, how I felt about games for the better. And like, so I'm excited. I'm excited to literally be able to hand you a wad of cash and say, make this game.
Well, I'm delighted to give you that opportunity.
It's important. It's important to me to have that opportunity. So thank you.
Mm-hmm. You can check out more about it at tcabbage.com/spindlewheel. If you are looking for more details, you can listen to the fantastic episode that we recorded on Party of One. You can also listen to this one because it's going to happen. But if you're interested in sort of hearing the game develop over time, I recorded a podcast called Spindlewheel Stories, which is a bunch of playtests that I did with a bunch of fantastic people, and sort of noted of the changes that I was making to the system while I was making it. So if you want to get into the weeds, you totally can.
There's a lot of good content. There's also Spindlewheel adjacent. There's also the Spindlewheel micro games that we played on Party of One that are all dope and is a great episode. I got a lot of good Spindlewheel content that is here and ready for people to dive into if they want to dive into it, and I hope they do because it really is like a good, beautiful, special game.
Yeah.
Which is to say, let's play some goddamn Spindlewheel.
Let's play. What do you want to play some Spindlewheel, baby? Absolutely.
I would love to do that. So let's dive in, and we got to make some characters. We got to make a world, and then we gotta play our game.
Absolutely. I'm gonna read the rules that I wrote. I'm just gonna read them from the start to the end. I think.
Go for it.
What is Spindlewheel? Spindlewheel is a tarot-like storytelling game. Each card evokes an idea. Choose something about the card that interests you. A phrase, a concept, an element of the art, as much as the entire card, and as little as a single word. Use it to anchor the part of the story you're telling. Be as banal or outlandish as you like, as long as it ties back to the card in some way. A card can be a person, an event, an attitude, a physical object, etc. The two sides of the card are different ends of an axis. Favor the upright, but flip it if you want. Sideways cards use both sides. Overlapping cards inform each other. When you say something important, play a card to support it. And to set up, we are laying out cards in shapes called spreads and interpreting them as they're labeled. And we'll choose one of the pattern cards for the list of scenes we'll play through. And the two that we have as options are Festival and Long Form. Festival is a series of 6 events that we choose. We just sort of like hop popcorn between them as it feels right, and is designed for more like a TV episode feeling, sort of a shorter experience. And there's long form, which is broken down into 4 acts with intermissions in between. So it's a lot more sort of within that like rigid like Western structure.
Right, sure. And I believe we are playing the Festival today, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe we are. Dope.
Good. I was gonna suggest that. So I'll read over our safety and courtesy sections.
Please do.
We should be aware of bleed. We should be mindful of what feelings and experiences are drawn out by the cards, especially as the deck can take unexpectedly dark turns, and look out for each other. We should keep in mind curation. We have an X card on the table. We should not hesitate to use the X card or redraw or cards or even entire spreads if they don't fit the story that we want to tell. Tone. The tone of the story is up for us to decide. If we were playing with kids, we could consider curating the deck before play. When we want to explore a topic that will shift the tone of the game, we should ask how we feel about it. If anyone is hesitant, investigate or consider a different direction. And lastly, we should consider courtesy and consent. To affect another player's character, make sure you have courtesy and consent first. To have courtesy is to respect the player's choices, be a fan of their character, and center their reactions and motions in the scene. To have consent is to obtain the player's clear and uncoerced permission. And now, we players in Spindlewheel move fluidly and often between protagonist, I swing my sword, and authorial. This duel is an old tradition stances. A GM may enjoy primarily authorial voices, and a player may prefer to act from a protagonist position, but both have equal access to those voices and can move from first to third person and back and forth at a whim.
So, the protagonist rules. Worth noting that this is a GM-less game by and large. You can GM it if you were like, I'm gonna decide what happens to the world, but you don't have to. So the protagonist rules are: when you do something uncertain, unusual, or risky in the story, anchor it by playing a relevant card on the board. When you act towards your goals, play your card on your desire card. When your card acts on another player, play it into their hand. When you aren't sure of what your character would do, draw a card into your hand to reflect on how you feel or change. Play your Atropos card to end your story. You can continue to play as an author, but your character has exited the story.
And if we're playing in an authorial sense, we can use the scene prompts to vex our characters and intrigue our friends. Ask questions often. If we don't have an answer, we can draw a card from the deck to feed the Arbiter. When the table looks for what happens next, play a card from the Arbiter's deck to advocate for the world's desire. When you meet an interesting stranger, draw a core and a crossing for them and give them a name. Keep them nearby for reference. When all Atropos cards have been played, return to the world's Atropos. Did it come true?
That's the rules.
That's it. That's it in a nutshell. So we are going to create our world first. We have a world spread here that we're going to pull some cards and lay out and discuss together, and we will pull those cards and map them out.
And so we're going to interpret this together.
Yes.
So the first two, for description, this is a Celtic cross spread. If you're familiar with tarot at all, if you're not, it's 6 cards that are sort of arranged in a plus sign. In the middle are 2 cards that there is one that is vertical and the second one is horizontal crossed over it. And these are the core of the situation and what complicates it.
We have Fool, wide-eyed and open-hearted, unfettered by cynicism or context, crossed by Angel, an Arbiter, divine, a single-minded holy force, or ancient machinery, abandoned in disrepair.
Oh, what a start.
What an interesting start. I kind of want to see what's the other side of the Fool.
Sure.
Let's see what the other side of the Fool is. Close-minded and stubborn, faith born out of spite. I kind of like that crossed with ancient machinery, abandoned in disrepair.
Yeah.
That gives a really great picture of, like, this is some sort of, like, mechanical ruins.
And not only is it mechanical ruins, but they're, like, obstinate mechanical ruins, like, stubborn mechanical ruins that, like, don't cooperate with anything or anyone.
So I have a proposal, and this may be partially this is informed by a lot of things that I love. But what the picture that comes to mind immediately is someone going into the remnants of, like, either a 60s superhero, like, cyber base, like a Fantastic Four Baxter building, or a Looney Tunes House of Tomorrow that has been long since abandoned but still proceeds to, or that has been, like, wiped out and like left to rot but still proceeds to, like, hum and churn and exist stubbornly. You know what I mean? Like, there's that ongoing, that automation has never stopped.
This I love.
But those that are within have long since abandoned this building.
Yeah.
Or were abandoned, or were forced off of this mortal coil.
Mm-hmm.
It's up in the air. But, like, that sense of, like, a place that is super automated and super mechanical and super just running 24/7, just left just with no one there.
Yes, I love that.
And I think we might be the people that have walked in here for the first time. In some time.
Yeah.
So where should we go next?
The boon, which is what helps the core, is vultures, the shadows of undertakers, sharp-eyed and long-suffering, or hardy survivalists, bone-eaters, landing only to scour and salvage.
Are we the vultures?
We might be. It could also be, like...
Because the vultures are helping the core.
Yeah.
There's something...
It could be that this is like a boneyard, like an elephant graveyard, where it's like things of this sort of ilk tend to come here to die. Things of this sort of, like, you mentioned like a superhero base, and that made me think of, like, really extraordinary machinery and like tech stuff, and like and maybe there's something or like a function of this place that draws that kind of stuff to it, like a what do you say?
Or along those same lines, it could also be leaning even harder on the visual that, like, I immediately got, which I will name drop it, is like, I get almost a there's a slight kind of like Venture Brothers-y, like old superheroes coming back to like a place after their time has passed.
Yeah.
And like these people, like this site that is like ruins, right? It is old, it is ruins, it is destroyed. That thing that could draw people to it could literally just be the memory of a time when it wasn't destroyed.
Yeah. I think that.
So then let's talk about the Bane.
Let's.
The Bane.
That's
It works
Heatwave.
against the core.
Right. The Bane is Heatwave. Dead air, oppressive heat, unrelenting drought, or the first spring thaw, a thermal updraft, a warm embrace. I like dead air here. I think there's maybe a sense of, like, the things here, because of the vultures coming back and, like, opening up all these, like, long closed vaults. Suddenly everything has like started to decay again. Because it's like exposed to the air.
So you know what I really like about that, and I have a big pitch for you that I think sums up a lot of, like, it takes a lot of this in a direction. The word decay. What if it's like a space station?
Nice. Yes. Hi.
Like, and it's quite literally like people, whether they are, you know, astronauts or aliens or other machines, have arrived on this space station to do something. And like, it is literally like causing the space station to crumble. And also it's decaying. It's, what the hell's the word for that? Decay, its orbit. Its orbit is decaying, and it's literally like crashing to the planet.
Oh, it's very good. So if we're gonna get anything, if we're gonna salvage anything from this, fucking landing only the scour and salvage, absolutely, that kicks ass. Then we have to do that very quickly.
Yeah, it's like, and it's the machines themselves are pumping because we are the first people on it in so long, but like they've just been humming because it's a space station. Like, that's what it does. It just runs forever.
Yeah.
But like, now that we're on it, like, it has been running so long, like, specifically in disrepair, that like it did not plan. The space station itself, the machinery, the computers, the robots had lost track of what it meant to plan for life forms.
Right. How much oxygen could they need, really?
Yeah, like we've been running like level for so long that like, oh no, now there's foreign bodies in the ship. Everything is chaos.
Yes, absolutely. Next is Desire, which is what the core wants most.
Okay, the Desire card's very good. It's Keepers, Archivists quietly collecting gestures, stealing turns of phrase, or Wanderers speak truths that wound and knowledge that corrupts. It's good. Like, that's good for this scenario. That is the magic of a Spindlewheel card draw. Literally, Keepers, like, what the space station wants is Keepers. Is like, that's what it exists for.
Yeah. Both in a, like, curatorial sense of being a place that holds these incredible, like, relics and things, right? And also in a, like, somebody please take care of the space station.
Right. Like, and it is in its own way a living being, right? All these machines are running, they are pumping air and electricity, and there are robots, there are organisms, and it's doing it in quite literally a vacuum.
God, that's really good.
That's real good.
Oh no, the plan, how they intend to get us. Very funny. It's bandit, highwayman, robber baron, wealth taken by fear and force, or gold-hearted thief, lover of justice, defiler of law. What if we just kidnapped some people?
Okay, so the scenario has snapped into place for me. What if the first half of Alien, where we find out that Ash is a robot, spoilers for a 50-year-old movie, but like that's it. Like, where the movie is like, we're a bunch of scrappers. Like, the scenario is like a bunch of scrappers have landed on this space station to scrap. But this space station has been waiting for people to come to it for so long that it's not going to let us leave. Not because it's like trying to stop us, quite the opposite. It wants us to stay there forever.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Are you good with that?
Yeah, of course you could look at all these, all this wealth, all these technology things you could just have if you stayed.
If you stayed.
You don't have to take it anywhere.
Why are you trying to leave? Don't leave. And when we try to leave, it gets scary.
Oh, it's very good.
God, I love this game. So now we're going to make some... That's a good scenario. I feel we're done. We wrapped in, what is it, 20 minutes? We're good.
Bam, that's a Spindlewheel any percent. We did it.
Let's read some donations in the chat.
Let's read some fates, actually.
All right. Let's do some character building.
Well, we got some fates to get through.
We got some fates to get through. I forgot about some fates. Let's read some fates.
Absolutely. Clotho is the root of the world's current state, which is vampire, vitality to the dying, life to the dead, vengeance to the wounded, or a legendary monster, cold-blooded noblesse, a parasite. I kind of like legendary monster here.
I was kind of thinking the same. Like this world is a space Hulk. This world is playing off of the superhero theme. Like this was the Justice League watchtower that modern day gods lived in, and they died out, and no one has set foot in there in a generation.
Yeah. Lachesis is the current state of affairs, which is magic beans. Within a seed waits a mighty beanstalk, a precious jewel, a strange-headed child, or a misdirection, a dream sold, gutting the golden goose. I think...
They're both good. They both fit. I like them both.
Yeah, they do. I like the upright because that implies that there is something dormant here. That is not just like the space station itself, but something within the space station that just needs the right, what do you call it?
Incentive?
The right convergence of situations.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. Yep.
To like open up and become. So perhaps that is part of the station's ambitions here.
Yeah, that's what it's looking for. It's looking for those conditions.
Yeah. And the Atropos, which is the common held belief of what's to come, which is grandmother's ring, a new partnership, a steady alliance, or an old grudge, a tepid peace.
I really like a steady alliance. If it's what people think is going to happen, that's very good naivety or naivete.
Yeah, it is.
It's gonna be great.
That's just how you make friends, right? That's how you do it. You find them and then you keep them, and now you're friends forever and always.
Yeah, I love that. Like, I love that, and it also kind of almost there. Like, I have to imagine that almost extends to like us as well. Like, if it's the commonly held belief, it's like us as well. Of like, we're gonna go in, we're gonna take some stuff, like, and we're going to, repurpose it to make the world a better place.
Yeah.
Everything's gonna be fine.
Yes, absolutely.
Good. Cool. This rules.
Gonna set Desire and Atropos aside, and then Desire hangs out over here in the little Desire section. We'll get to that in a second as to like how and why that's important, and everything else gets shuffled to create the Arbiter's deck. Would you mind while I collect that, reading that bit?
Yes, of course. There's a bit about the Arbiter's deck? Absolutely. The Arbiter is a game master's artificial intelligence operating the world's ambitions. Anyone can play cards from this deck, and everyone should. Draw from the Arbiter's deck when someone reflects, when an NPC reacts, or when someone asks what the world does. Cards drawn from the main deck to answer questions are shuffled into the Arbiter's deck.
And that's what that is.
All right.
Next we get to interpret our own characters.
Yes. So we have laid out our spreads. I'm going to flip over my cards, and then we will one by one. Do we want to like go over each step for both of our characters?
Yeah, I think so. If you want, we can take a second individually and sort of read through everything. And
Yeah.
when you have a sense of who your character is, let me know. We can go through it.
Those are good. That's good. Those are great. Also great. Super great. Oh, Spindlewheel, you shouldn't have given me this gift. Oh my, what happened to give me these cards? Who did I do right by today to get this spread? This is a great spread.
Holy cannoli.
That's a good spread. All right, should we start from the top?
Go for it.
You still take a moment?
Yeah, give me just a second. Cool. Yeah, hell goddamn yeah.
This is good. I'm excited.
Tell me about your character.
Okay, so we'll start with core. I'll introduce my core, and then you can do the same, and then we'll kind of go step from there. So my core spread is Nightmare and Darkness. Nightmare, fears justified, and omens fulfilled, crossed with darkness, a curtain thicker than the absence of light, and the shadows cast on a cave wall.
Would you believe me if I told you that is not the most edgelord spread you could get in this game?
I don't know if I would believe you, honestly. The answer is I am nothing behind the eyes is the only way to describe it. Like I am a mercenary. Shadows on the cave wall, right? Like I am smiling and I am a smiling devil is the best way to describe it. You know, warm smile, doll's eyes.
Oh God.
And like you know that sort of like warm, friendly, managerial charm that like in the back of your mind you're like, that person is a monster. That person is capable of that person like has no regard for anyone but himself. Mm-hmm. And your fears are justified because I will throw anyone under a bus or into an airlock to get what I need. Mm-hmm. So tell me about your core.
Fucking fantastic.
Right? I'm so jazzed.
My core is princess, sheltered and fearful, seen and never heard, expected to suffer lightly, crossed by holy stricture, warnings in fable, lessons in allegory, history and folklore, or laws as esoteric as they are absolute. And I might, just for shits and giggles, I might just be like a straight up literal space princess. And I am bound by these very specific laws that demand a great deal of me. I need to like, I think there's a little bit of like how in like science fiction stories about robots and things, there are like rigid rules for AI. Mm-hmm. I think it is difficult to tell the difference between that and the like sort of royal parameters that I have to fulfill.
I love that. I deeply, deeply love that. And then so that kind of, I think I know my relationship to your character based on my boon.
Yeah.
Which is thunder and fire, a column of ash, lava, black and crackling red. I think I might be the mercenary or the soldier that you hired to like plunder this place. Like you and I are kind of like you have appointed me as the head of this like military operation to like take something important from this place, and like I am happy to fulfill that role.
Well, fantastic.
So my boon is firepower in the most literal sense.
Yes, excellent. Well, my boon, I've conspicuously flipped for you, is the Fallen, a would-be martyr with delusions of sainthood, a powder keg in want of a spark.
Excellent.
And the other side is a sheep pleased to bamboozle the chronically unlucky sucker. We're just not going to worry about that right now.
No, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine.
But sometimes, you know, the kinds of stories that this space station, the like legends about this space station, those are the kinds of stories that I came up on. Those are the sorts of stories that surround my family. And so, I think those delusions of sainthood aren't so out of reach.
No, I don't think they are. I think, I mean, if whether they are literal superheroes or just like space royalty or like, you know, architect aliens or whatever, like it kind of sounds like, and if you want to go in a different direction, let me know, but it sounds like you are like connected to that, and this is like literally your lineage.
Yeah. Oh, I dig that. I love fucking coming back home to this space station. Absolutely.
Oh, that's real good. So my Bane's real good. Like, this is a good spread. My Bane, survivor, a shipwrecked sailor, a mountain roamer, a shiv maker, a snake eater, or star-crossed in body and mind, wounded and raw-hearted. I flipped it to shipwrecked sailor, mountain roamer, shiv maker, and snake eater. I'm leaving. There's a Mountain Goats, there's a great Mountain Goats lyric of like, I am coming home with my own blood in my mouth. Like, I'm walking out of here. Whatever it takes for me to walk out of here and take my next job is gonna happen.
Yeah. Oh, it's very good. Yeah, you have to cut ties at some point. There's no option.
That's part of war, and I am trained in war. Like, it is trained in war to cut your losses and cut your ties, and you know, if you get attached, that's when you suffer. So I am going to not be attached, and I'm not gonna suffer.
Oh, bud.
Oh, that hurt me to say. That is some, boy howdy, I hope things don't work out for you, and I'm afraid that they will.
Oh, buddy. Yeah. My Bane is bad blood, vitriol swallowed back by shame, a trap's jaws rusted shut, or to drink from the same poisoned cup as your enemy. And they're both very good, is the problem.
They're so good. They're not, but they're perfect.
I think I am sort of pulling from both here, because I think, vitriol swallowed back by shame, a trap's jaws rusted shut is like, there is shit about this station. Sorry, is it? I've already sworn 6 times and I forgot to ask if there is swearing on this show.
I include it in my FAQ document with an answer of fuck yeah.
Okay, cool. There is shit on this station that has happened on this station that is still dormant within this station that is like horrendous. That is like corrosive in every sense of the word. And I think connecting back to expected to suffer lightly is to drink from the same poison cup as your enemy. Like, being here is going to hurt me really actively. And I have to like contend with that in some kind of way.
So my desire adds a really fun wrinkle, and they both are good. My desire is gilded lily, fashion and flourish, high court grandeur, a gift as sweet as it is absurd, or gutting a clock to wear its gears, stolen relics as children's toys. I honestly love fashion and flourish. Like, there's the literal aspect of gutting a clock to wear its gears, where like what I want is to rip as much stuff out of this space station as I can. But the reason that I want that is, as much as I believe in my purpose as a mercenary, I want to retire to the talk show circuit. I want to be a cozy celebrity. Like, I want to write a memoir that like I want to write an airport memoir. Like, my true calling is to be a talking head.
Yeah.
this job is going to get me out of the military life, and I am going to live comfortably and like sip at the lap of luxury.
What an ambition.
Right?
Absolutely. Get you that retirement. Get you that little umbrella you drink. Absolutely. My desire is magician. Skillful and clever, a scientist, a pragmatist, or smoke and mirrors, an entertaining liar, misdirection, and sleight of hand. I think, actually, I'm gonna flip this one. Because I think it's garbage, that I have to come here to the space station that, like, is falling out of orbit, and I have to, like, plug myself into the controls. That has to be me? Nah. I'm good.
I love that. I love that a lot.
I would love to just fool the system there and maybe, like, live my own life for a little bit. That'd be great for me, I think.
And so, my plan, how I intend to get my desire, is shadow thorns, impish creatures in the dark with curling hooks that trap and tear, or shadow hounds, or shadow-bound sprites whose blank eyes blink and shark mouths chatter. I'm gonna say it's literally like we are hacking this thing to bits, right? Curling hooks that trap and tear. We are literally bringing blowtorches and vibro blades and like it's tying into a volcano. Like we're coming in to gut this thing. We're coming in to rip the guts out of this station. No subtlety about it. We're not a precision operation. If you wanted someone precise, you wouldn't have hired me.
Goddamn right. My plan, Polaris, an immutable fact, an immovable object, or the North Star, a lighthouse, words to live by. And I think that is... I need to put something into place in this station. I need something that is all-encompassing of its systems, that overrides everything that precedes it. And if all that is in place, if I can manipulate what is there, then I can get my freedom, I think.
Yeah. I'm looking at my other 3 cards and they're good. They're all really good.
Tell me about them.
So my Clotho, how I begin is Fiddler's Rosin, an artist's tool to sweeten and empower, clarity and strength through fiction, or making do for want of a horseshoe nail, and promised but never awarded. Aid promised but never awarded. We definitely don't. We were supposed to get enforcements.
Uh-huh.
Like, I requested them, and they are not here. And we are going to have to make do with the skeleton crew that was, like, on our, the vessel that we took.
Yeah.
They did not send the cruiser with the heavily armed people with the chainsaws that I requested. We are strapped for anything. Mm-hmm. It's going to be fine, though. It's going to be fine.
I'm sure.
My Laxus, my current fortune is Behemoth, an unstoppable monster, paused only by heroism, or a herd of giants, bounty to wolves, blight to flora. I am for sure flipping this to be an unstoppable monster, paused only by heroism.
Absolutely.
I am an unstoppable monster. This is my character.
Mm-hmm.
And my Atropo, where will I end, or how will I end, is wildfire, air scarlet with smoke, rivers molten and glowing, or clearing the underbrush, maintenance to prevent consuming calamity. That's a great ending. I'm excited for that to be my ending card. That's good.
Hell yeah. I'm sure that'll be just fine.
That sounds really like the good end. That sounds like a good end.
My fates are Clotho, how I begin, is a cursed sword, a voracious blade, double-edged, glittering red with an unquenchable thirst, or brittle steel, rusting armor, old marching orders for a new war. I think old marching orders for a new war is what's going to be it. I think this describes the ship that we actually have. Because you're not the only one who put in an order for something worthwhile. And I think this old warship is the like sliver of my inheritance that I am allowed to do anything with.
That's dope. I love that.
My Lachesis. We're gonna go through every iteration of how to say this word, and one of them's gonna be fine.
Yeah, we'll get it.
Which is my current fortune, is Alpha, head of the household, leader of the pack, fierce protector of kith and kin, or cult leader, defender of the homeland, enemy to outsiders and dissent.
They're both good.
I think I have to sell the legend here. I think that's what I feel forced to do. So I think that, like, that cult leader aspect of it, right? Just to reinforce my boon there of the fallen, right? That promise of sainthood. I have had to do that.
You have to do it as much to yourself as anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if I don't believe it, then I can't say it in a convincing way to make anyone else believe it.
And if you don't believe it, then you have come to this miserable, broken down space station for nothing.
Yeah. And Atropos, how I will end is unbroken mold, return to tradition, a perfect duplicate to replace instead of repair or obscure magic made commonplace by industrial might. I would really like that. I think that would be great for me.
I think either of those would be good for you. I don't think either of mine would be good for me, but I feel like Jeff wants them to happen to Jeff's character.
Yes, absolutely. We should maybe give these people names.
Yes. My name is Ruger Mannheim.
Very good. My name is Sanguine Oster.
It's a good name.
So we will set our Desire and Atropos cards aside for now, and take the rest into our hand. So the Desire card, the way that works is keep Desire cards at the top of the board, ordered so you know whose is whose. When you work towards your goal, play your card on your Desire card. When you can prove to the group you've earned your Desire, take it and all the cards on top of it into your hand. Until then, those cards stay locked at the top of the board. You can play cards on someone else's Desire, but only you can earn your Desire card. And the Atropos card, the way that works is your character's Atropos is not a passive fate. It's their swan song, their final move. You'll play this card to end your character's story, and you'll decide what it means then. You may advocate the Arbiter after you play this, but your character has exited the story. Keep your Atropos card face up on the table in front of you until you are ready to play it.
Great. And with that, we segue into scenes. The cycle of gameplay will be as follows.
Oh, we have
Someone
one more
will cue a... What?
We have one more thing, sorry.
Oh, we have one more thing? All right, then. Never mind. Haha. Editing.
Probably will be a super short one. So, at the end of character creation is entanglements. Declare who you want to have a tie with. Trade each other a card from your hand that describes what binds you. For example, this is what I need from you, what you want from me, why we can't avoid each other. Tie entanglements with as many players as you want. There's only the two of us, so it's probably just going to be us two. But I think I will give you full access to, it's not much. I know it's not much, but I do think you should be able to access anything on the ship that you need, and any firepower that I can allocate to you with Cursed Sword.
And I would like to... Sorry, I cut you off.
It's old tech, but it should work.
Yeah, old weapons are still weapons. They'll do what they'll do what we need them to do. I'm gonna give you darkness.
Yeah?
Yep. I think what binds us is you know what's in here. You know what's in here. You know what will be what's waiting for us. I see it as only shadows on a cave wall. Like I've got nothing. You have some notion of like what's in store.
Oh, you trust me to see through it.
Yeah, I trust you. You've chosen to come here. So I trust that you know what you're doing. Because so far, no one has been reckless enough to make this call.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trusting you to guide us through the darkness.
Yeah, I could probably do that. Good. Safe and fine. I love it. Yeah, that's the last thing. Next is scenes. But this if you need to, this would be a good place to take a break.
Yeah, let's do that. All right, so we've made our characters our world. We've built the story that we're going to tell. Now it's time to play through some scenes. The cycle of gameplay is as follows. Someone cues a scene through a character action or player prompting. We will pick a scene from the pattern we've chosen. Each scene is 2 cards crossed. Someone who hasn't gone recently uses the 2 cards to open the scene. So we'll just kind of go back and forth. Whenever one of us opens the scene, the other will open the next scene. We will take turns playing cards onto a thread, or playing cards into a thread onto the scene cards or onto desire cards and drawing cards into our hand. Play cards from the Arbiter's deck to advocate the world reaching for its desire or reacting to the players. When the scene comes to a close, retire the thread to the discard pile and cue the next scene. The game ends when all Atropos cards have been played. Return to the world's Atropos. Did it come true? I'm very excited to do that because the world's Atropos, terrifying. Okay. Would you like to pick our first scene?
Sure. So we're playing the festival pattern of it, which is 6 events that we can bounce between in any order. There is a challenge, a gift, a duel, a trial, a vision, a sabotage, a conversation, an ultimatum, a cataclysm, a revelation, or an invitation, a wager. And when we pick these, we will pick one of these options, and then that will be what the story beat is. And I think where I would love to start is, let's see, where do we want to start early, or do we want to get into the thick of it, do we think?
I would love to start early and then skip ahead to the thick of it. I would love one scene of us feeling like we're in control before we very quickly are not that.
Mm-hmm. I think maybe an invitation then, or
that's where I was looking at an invitation, specifically an invitation in Olive Branch, a baited trap.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like the right place to start, given that we are walking into a trap.
Flip those? Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy. Good. Yes. Oh, good. Good draw.
Oh, boy. That's the grave. A devastating loss, a bone healed wrong. Crossed by fortune, rotten luck, a persistent rumor, a nagging instinct, or abundant harvest, a missed opportunity, a hesitation. Okay. So
that's not great.
It's not super good. No, it's not ideal. The other side of the grave is closure gained, last word spoken, the end of an era, but I really do think it's a devastating loss of bone healed wrong. The thing is that, so the ship that I have, that I entrusted to you, is busted. It's bad.
Yep.
And
I would love to play a card immediately.
Sure.
To the scene. You play cards to the scene or to your desires, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going to play a card to the scene. Because what this says to me, this flows very naturally to our situation of the Fiddler's Rosin.
Mm-hmm.
That perhaps what was lost wasn't our ship. Perhaps what was lost is perhaps we are stranded. Maybe it is the ship is busted and we are stranded. That's a real good, we're stranded. Our ship is damaged.
Yeah. I think part of that was trying to dock, something just snapped.
It feels like it's almost got, I would love to posit it was like a laser defense system.
Ooh.
Long since automated, just running strictly on autopilot.
Just snapped to the wrong target and just took a blast. Yeah.
Because we're not on the registry. We're not somebody that's supposed to be on the ship. Granted, everybody that's supposed to be on the ship is probably either dead or extremely old, but like we're not on the list, so it shot us with a laser.
It's just rotten luck. It's just bad luck. That's just a rough way to go.
Right?
God, okay. Then I think... Okay. Obviously trying to get onto this ship from the front isn't gonna work. We are gonna need to sneak in.
Yep, 100%.
Playing darkness a curtain thicker than the absence of light. We need to, and that is like full power off, like not even life support. We need, which means we need to do it very quickly, right?
Yep. I'm gonna play another card. I'm gonna play this card towards Desire, and say I think that like our entrance onto the ship is shrouded in darkness. And like we see the visual of the scene. I'm gonna play this over top of my Gilded Lily Desire, and play it as Survivor. I think what has happened is I go full on into Snake Eater mode, which is to say into Metal Gear Solid. Like we see the ship coming in and it's just blasted, and we're floating in the abyss. And, like, I immediately snap into, like, Navy SEAL signals, and, like, it's just, I'm just, like, guiding us through, like, this operation. This is me in my purest element of, like, we are under fire.
Yeah.
This is now a military operation, whereas before this was, like, recovery. Now we are doing what I do best, and that is survive.
Yeah. Hell yeah, it's a beautiful thing to see, I think. I am, like, staying very close to you, I think. And as we're, like, floating out in space, out, like, at the peripheries of this space station, I think I find, like, a port that has, like, that is busted a little bit. And playing Bad Blood, a trap's jaws rusted shut. And I think this is our in. This is the way in.
And I would love to flip a card. I think as we're making our way in, like, the power dynamic here has shifted, right? I think like coming in, I think tying into that, like that Bad Blood and the Survivor card, like. Mm-hmm. The power dynamic between us has immediately shifted, right? Like on the way here, like it was clear you were running the show. It was clear that you were going to guide us through. And now like the second we have arrived, like it has squarely fallen into my domain. Mm-hmm. And I think that we see that in the way that you're like hanging very close and I'm like throwing signals to our little tiny skeleton crew. But like, it's I like, this is why I was brought here. And whether or not we plan for this, like this is what I'm here for. Now, I would love to pull a card from the Arbiter's deck.
Yeah.
To see how the space station reacts. I've flipped vultures. Good. I mean, yeah, that feels right. Hardy Survivalist, the Shadows of Undertaker's Sharp-Eyed and Long Suffering, or Hardy I'm actually going to flip this card. Oh. We had it, we played it with vultures, the Shadows of Undertaker's earlier. Mm-hmm. I would love to flip this as Hardy Survivalist Bone Eaters landing only to scour and salvage. Mm. I think what we find, I think once we get in, like there's a moment where like that feeling of, I think that feeling of like I'm in my element is undercut immediately, because I think what I'd like to propose is that when we get inside, we see that like the ship has already been largely gutted.
Oh, it's been picked clean, yeah.
By the robots inside.
Ooh.
Who have been, like, their survivalists. They have been scouring and scavenging. Like, they have become their own vultures. And, like, the service droids and the security bots and all of those have, like, all these wires are just hanging down, and suddenly we are both completely out of our element because, like, we see all of this, and we get maybe like glimpse, like over a very Star Wars railing, right? Like big railing, big open area underneath. We see just one of these robots, and it was, picture if C-3PO was cybernetically like grafted into Tetsuo from Akira, right? Where it's just like big chunking wires and like, you know, a mess of wire. Like an arm was replaced, but it was replaced with like wires and paneling from a wall of a space station. Yeah. And it's just like, it was once looked like it was built with purpose, that has just been like patchworked over. When an arm broke, it was just replaced with whatever wiring and pieces it could find. And we see just one of these robots walking, and we realize all of this damage was done to build robots into these survivalist forms, and that is what we are now confronted with.
Oh my god. Yeah. A little robot ecology. Inside the space station. What do you want to do about these robots?
Is that the end of this scene?
I think so. I think maybe the next should be another event.
Yeah, I think so. So we've reached the end of a scene. When the scene completes, we are going to retire the thread to the discard pile and cue the next scene. All right. And we redraw. Do we refill our hand from the Atropode or from the Arbiter's deck, or do we just leave that? Or do we Got it. Perfect.
When you're running low, you can always take a second to check in for how you feel and draw from the main deck for that.
Yeah, got it. So we've moved our cards to the discard pile, which means it's time for us to pick our next event. I mean, a cataclysm is very good.
I mean, we could have a conversation about what to do. You could also just open fire.
That's really, like, those are the two options for me. Those are the two options are, or maybe I'm going to go with the third option.
Oh?
Because they both fit here. I'm going to go with a vision of sabotage.
Ooh.
It's a vista, an investigation, or a wrench in the gears. They both fit really well here, both in terms of like what we've literally seen and like playing that out as we investigate, like as we come investigate what has happened. And also there's a wrench in our gears, but also the decision of whether Ruger investigates or just cold open fires. That feels like it's either an investigation or a wrench in the gears. So we'll see. We'll see how this plays out. So the scene is Ophelia's Garland. Allow those who crowned you to change who you are. Or a weeping flower crown, a dubious honor, a sickly and desperate faith. I'm going to put that here for now, because I might want it to be both of those. We also have a poppy flute. A few discordant notes sour the ear to the symphony, or command your audience with a kind word and a catchy tune. I'm going to put it as weeping flower crown, a dubious honor, a sickly and desperate faith, crossed by poppy flute, command your audience with a kind word and a catchy tune, and a few discordant notes sour the ear to the symphony. And I think I would like to push it to you first and say, this feels like the moment. If you're cool taking the first step here, that scene to me says this scene says to me that it's Sanguine, like, offering up words, at least to start.
Here's the thing, I recognize those bots. I know them. I've never met them, but I know them. Those are like ancestors of mine, or echoes of ancestors. Playing Princess, Master of Statecraft, Coy and Clever Wolf Beyond Golden Land. And here's the thing is, they don't have to be our enemies. There is, if I can find a terminal and do the right ritual, I can be recognized as the sovereign here, and they will fall in line.
I'm gonna drag this behemoth card over.
Forward.
Towards the scene. I'm gonna drag this behemoth card to the scene. I don't think it's towards either of our Actually, I think I'm gonna drag it towards a desire. I think I know the exact desire I want to drag it towards. I want to drag it towards your magician desire. An unstoppable monster. The keywords that I want to focus on are paused only by heroism. I think, like, my crew and I were ready. Like, right? Like, we're ready. Guns loaded. Take aim. And your words have stopped us. And we're like, you've got one chance. If it doesn't work, we're going to do what we have to do. But you've got one chance. Like, you are the boss. You are nominally the person in charge. So and we have brought you here because you know what is going on.
Well, if not now, when? Hey, Alpha, cult leader, defender of the homeland, enemy to outsiders and dissent. Really just fucking doubling down. I think, I chart our way through the station to where is it? Actually, I'm gonna draw for it. The what the room looks like, this, like, throne room.
Like the bridge?
Yeah, moon, a harvest moon, dark machinations illuminated, or a solar eclipse, a complete and rapid transformation. I think this is it's a room that is composed entirely of, like, stone, like moonstone, like from a moon.
And I think the other visual detail I would love to throw in is, like, a massive, like space glass skylight.
Yeah.
And you just see the cosmos, like, all around.
Yes. And that is just, like, almost blinding white material underfoot. Reflecting starlight. Because that was to answer a question, so I'm gonna flip that and stick it in the Arbiter's deck. And I think I pull out all the stops here. I think if you don't mind me playing another card.
Go for it. Yeah, please.
I think I'm going to, like, recite the laws that bind me to this place and that bind this place to me. The lineage that is like, deep in my programming, and playing Holy Structure, Warnings in Fable, Lessons in Allegory, History and Folklore, as much as laws as esoteric as they are absolute.
Love it. Love it. I extremely love it.
Can you maybe draw it and tell me if that works?
I was exactly going to do that. I need to know how the space station reacts to this. Vampire. Vitality to the dying, life to the dead, vengeance to the wounded. A legendary monster, cold-blooded noblesse, a parasite. Doesn't sound like it goes great. No, I disagree.
I'm a little concerned. Oh? Yeah? What's up?
I think I'm going to put this towards the desire. I'm going to put this towards a desire. I put it on the desire. I put vampire on the desire card for the world, for keepers. Because as bad as it sounds, and it's probably very bad, it is nonetheless basically, like, vitality to the dying and life to the dead and vengeance to the wounded. That all very much speaks to me of, like, oh, somebody has finally, like, come back here, and they're gonna fix things. And they're gonna make it so that the people that left are dealt with. And I think, I think it is, like, a positive reaction in the worst possible way. In terms of, like, it is, oh great, you're back. So we've got our like our pitchforks and our clubs, and we're gonna go like make things right?
Oh God.
Playing into the cult leader in the worst possible way. I think that you've become the overlord of a robot army.
Oh wow, do I?
I think that might be what happens now.
I want to, like, I kind of want to play on something that is, like, sort of physical, the sort of, like, vitality to the dying, I think, or, like a parasite there, which is that I think that Sanguine, like, connecting to the system is sort of injecting life back into it, and I kind of want to draw for what that takes from her.
Yeah, do that.
Which is, oh god, that sucks. Which is guillotine, a breath held, an axe suspended, a frayed rope pulled taut, or a system dismantled, a ruling class deposed, a worm rooted out. And I think it's... Oh, that's such a bummer. Oh, it's rough. It's, I think Sanguine is, like, overwhelmed by all this information rushing into her head of, like, of the station and the like, the things that people have taken from it and how things are right now. And, is so, like, I think that the station kind of just real conveniently, like, she can't remember what she wanted here. Obviously the thing that she needs to do, is take care of this place. The thing that she actually wanted, the system dismantled, a ruling class deposed, a worm rooted out. Just gonna go ahead and put that on pause. Just gonna go ahead and drop that down in the priority list to a irrelevant degree.
Mm-hmm. I think that makes a lot of sense. And I think... Yep, I'm playing a card here. For how Ruger reacts, and it's not great.
Hit me.
I'm going to drop this Nightmare card right here.
Oh.
Fears justified? This is what I was afraid of. This is everything that this is everything, like, this is like every nightmare story about this place comes together. Like, you know what I mean? Like, now there's an angry robot army.
Uh-huh.
That is, like, for a bunch of people that are primed for something to go horribly wrong, something has just gone horribly wrong.
Can we, oh boy. Oh, here's my question, is it more interesting if, like, we flash back to the conversation that Sanguine and Ruger had about this eventuality?
Oh my god, yes.
Or is it better that you are just out on your own here with no, like, guidance because of that trap of those traps' jaws rusted shut?
I feel like I really love being completely isolated here, right? Like, I love that, like, even with the idea that, like, I was trusting you to tell us what the shadows on the cave wall were, like, I was trusting you.
Uh-huh.
This wasn't on any of those stories. This was not something that, like, this was not part of the plan. And now, like, there's this tiny crew of people. The people that were supposed to come have our back are nowhere to be found. The supplies that we have are damaged and barely functional. And now, the worst case scenario has come to light. It's a bad time.
It's not great. What do you do, Ruger?
I feel like I might want to call for a scene. I don't feel like I have cards I could play, but I almost want to, like, I need that little push. I need that little push of, like, what what the spark of the powder keg is, like, what form this takes. I feel like that's a good end of scene, is, like, this has happened, and then the last visual that we get is, like, Ruger and his squad are just, like, you know, we watch Sanguine, like, embrace all of this and all of this information. We see this flood of visuals. It's all very 2001. And suddenly there are patchwork robots everywhere, and Sanguine is welcoming them, and they are like, they are one with the robots, and the robots are one with her, and all of this unfolds, and then we just see Ruger and, like, 6 other mercenaries just holding guns and like wide-eyed in disbelief of like, the hell happens now?
Mm-hmm.
What the hell happens at this very moment? And I think that's the end of the scene.
Absolutely.
Because like whatever happens next vastly changes. So we found a wrench in the, a wrench in the gears.
We sure did.
As it turns out, one of those came about.
Mm-hmm. Now, the rest of these are very good, is the thing.
They're all good. That was the other reason. I was like, all 4 of these are good directions for this to go in.
If I was taking the next one, I probably would do a challenge a gift.
That feels right to me.
Okay.
I don't think we're at any of these other options. I don't think we're quite there yet. I think we would need one more moment to get to the other options.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah,
Excellent,
agreed.
excellent draws.
Oh boy, yes, absolutely. So the cards are Empress, Unrivaled Sovereignty, a master tactician on and off the battlefield, or Consumed by the Big Picture, unconcerned with mortal frailty. And Glacier, eons past frozen in ice, glacial drift slowly carving canyons, or the tip of the iceberg, a grave underestimation. And I think this is like, I think when Sanguine speaks, you can hear her voice across the entire space station. At least all the speakers that still work. And I think it is like, I have a full sense of this place. Well, not quite full. There's a lot broken here. There's a lot that has fallen into disarray. But there is, and I think this is where I notice that the orbit of this place is off kilter. That it is on a collision course with the planet it's around. That glacial drift coming into play.
Yeah.
I'm gonna because I'm currently acting as like a voice box for myself, but also for the station. I'm gonna draw what its challenge and or gift is, the thing that it's presenting.
Magic beans.
Oh boy.
It's actually entirely literal, when the story just takes a real hard turn.
Well, here's the thing. There is a plant on board.
Yep.
There is a seed that is the last of its kind, that has been preserved here, and it needs to survive this place. I think flip this to Consumed by the Big Picture, unconcerned with mortal frailty, because what I need, what the station needs, is for that plant to sprout. It needs to be watered, and it needs to be buried, and it needs light, and that the plant that sprouts from that is going to save this station. And if you save this station, then everything on board it is yours. All of the treasures that are within its coffers, take them, they're yours. If you don't, we will all die.
I am going to pull over here the Shadow Thorns, and I'm going to put it on its side. Because I really like the line, shadowbound sprites whose blank eyes blink and shark mouths chatter. There are, and also impish creatures in the dark, with curling hooks and that trap and tear. This picture of like, we are like split, and we are split. Like there's a considerable debate, right? There's the squad is, there's no consensus. There are the people that are like, we do our job and we help this plant blossom. And there are people that are like, that's not our concern. That's not at all our concern. And if I may play a second card.
Sure.
Oh, you know what? I have a second card to play that I think answers me how Ruger reacts. I'm going to play Volcano. And I'm going to play it on a desire. I'm going to play it on my desire. Specifically the top part of A Dormant Goddess, a cooling island lush with sprouts, a season of peace. This could be my break. If I play not like I was here for a reason.
Yeah.
You have offered me a better contract. There is the contract that my superiors offered, or that you originally offered, which was you pay me, I get a bunch of money, I get to keep some of this scrap. Getting to be the person that single-handedly ushers in the world plant and all that it offers? Well, who's not going to want to book them on their taco?
Absolutely.
So I think as much as there is dissent among the ranks, and no one knows, there's no decisive action. Ruger has fallen in line and is like, you know what? If this is a job, I have just received a promotion.
I think I might draw for the specifics of where the world plant is. Merchant, a fair trade, a need fill, the broker of favors, or a bureaucratic bottleneck, factory boss, the company store. So, we talked at sort of the top of this, of this place sort of humming, sort of manufacturing, like idly, without like oversight of any like intelligent hand, right? I think there is like a section of the space station that is that machine, and I think it's sort of the end of that. No, you know what it is? It's the like distribution system. It's like the what do you call them? The pipes with the air in them that you put little canisters in and they go shoof.
Oh, the pneumatic tubes.
Is that kind of system. And I think this seed was being in the station's past, in one of the times that it has been plundered by passersby. It tried to protect this seed by moving it from place to place. And when it did that, the tubes got destroyed, so it is stuck.
Ooh, I really like that. So then I'm gonna drop a card. I'm gonna drop our friend the Cursed. I think this fits. I think this is exactly old marching orders for a new war. This is a recovery mission. This is a we carve out the walls mission. This is what we were brought here for, and I think presenting that opportunity to the group is what it takes to get them on board, right? Is like listen, our plans have not changed. We are gonna hollow out these walls and we are gonna carve things out. We're just gonna make sure we do it in the spot where this seed is.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna hand it over. Like, we are going to unearth this seed. It's the objective may have changed, but the orders have not.
I think I'm gonna play a card on my desire, which is kind of a private thing between me and the station, which is I am looking for the best place for you to start with that. And there is, like, even though that the like the specifics of my desire, of the like instinct to be like myself, independent of all of this, has, even though that precisely is beyond me, I still have that sort of panicky, like cornered feeling, and so I start looking at the station itself, and maybe the places that I recommend you start aren't maybe the best places to drill into the walls if you want the station to remain structurally sound and stable. Maybe a little bit of the Fallen gets in there. A chronically unlucky sucker.
There's only one. I feel like there. This is the moment. This is the moment for Wildfire. I'm gonna play it on its side, and it's both. I mean, it is. We are clearing out the underbrush in the name of maintenance. We are hollowing out the ship, and the air goes scarlet with smoke, and rivers molten and glowing. Like, in all of our talk of, we are going to get one over on the spoiled rich kid, and we are going to take their riches, hawk them for the highest bidder, and live comfortably. We stumbled dead on into whether an intentional or unintentional trap. We stumbled deadlong into it and were consumed.
Shit.
Ruger and his forces, like, those places that were that seemed like the best places, were devoured. Like, they were devoured. They were lit up like fireworks. And it's probably, we get like almost a quick montage of it, of like people drilling, and then suddenly like acid just sprays them, right? And like, it's just like, and it's you know, that the Resident Evil like laser grid thing.
Yeah.
Like, that type of stuff just and like one by one we just get these quick shots, and then it's nothing. And we wandered deadlong into that trap. And then the question that I have, having exited the story, was that intentional?
Did you do it on purpose?
Did the space station or did Sanguine do that on purpose?
Oh my gosh. I wonder. Because if, like, the way that you frame that with Wildfire, not just like getting spaced, right, but like being consumed by flame in all of this, I think that like floods the pipes with flame as well. And I think that seed is consumed, is destroyed in the midst of this. Playing Guillotine, a worm rooted out to support that. If I can make that Polaris, that immutable fact, this all-consuming fact to the station, that it's like the most important thing to it has been immolated, then I can break free of it. I can get the magician.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna take all these cards.
Take all those cards. They are yours.
I will ask you, for now that I have broken free of the station, how's it doing? How's it going?
Let's find out. Let's find out indeed. Let's flip this card. Bandit.
Not great.
It's not great. Highwayman, robber baron, wealth taken by fear and force, gold-hearted thief, lover of justice, defier of law. Oh no. Their treasure was taken. Like, that was the purpose of this station, was to protect this plant, and it's gone now. And all that's left is a bunch of robots with weapons and some very advanced military weaponry left behind by these by these mercenaries, as well as whatever makeshift weapons and outdated antiques they were able to get a hold of in the last generation. All that's left is weapons.
Oh, it was so smart and cool of me to supply all of those to the mercenaries and keep absolutely none for myself.
Yeah.
That was clever and cool of me. I think
Very
I did
clever
a great
and
job.
cool.
I think the thing to do, because the 3 cards that I got from my desire are Magician, the Fallen, and Behemoth. I think Magician here, Misdirection, Sleight of Hand, if I can, like... I have a really good sense of the space station now.
Yep. You see it. You see it in the back of your mind.
Very uploaded to the whole my brain. It's hard to not look at. So I think I start to play the field against these robots. I am like positioning myself and like calling attention and things so that they when they fire, they're firing on like vital parts of the station or on each other. I'm like sneaking through the shadows and like through the ducts and things.
That's really good. That's very, very good.
No, I do still have a problem, which is that the ship doesn't work.
The ship does not work. I'm going to draw a card to see how they perform against you. Heatwave. Oh, that's real. That's great. So it sounds like you have 2 problems. It sounds like you have 2 problems now.
It sounds like I have a lot of problems, actually.
Because you have dead air, oppressive heat, unrelenting drought. Like, let's not forget that the ship is flooding with flames. That's a great reminder from the world deck that everything is on fire.
Everything is on fire. Also, the station didn't have that much oxygen to begin with. I think the thing to do is I'm gonna find, it's probably not an emergency thing. It's probably, what I'm doing is it's a modular room, because I think the escape pods have long been jettisoned off of this place.
Right.
I think this is the closest thing I can get to it, which is like a modular room. And I am going to quickly rig it. I have the knowledge of what things are, and a sense from the station of how they work. So that is helping. But I'm not like an engineer. So this is pretty crude, I think. This is, I'm playing the Fawn here, which I'm playing on a powder keg and want of a spark, which is, I think, maybe literal sort of analogs, like sci-fi analogs to that of powder kegs, of these sort of incendiaries that I think, if I time the, like, launch of them right, I will be able to get into atmosphere and then, like, cushion my landing, in like an ocean or something, and then, like, be okay.
I really like that. So then should we pull an Arbiter's card to see how that works for you? Or do you think it just works?
I was maybe looking at a Cataclysm or a Revelation.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah.
That works.
I think I might have done the last one. Do you want to take this one?
Yeah. We have Second Sun, a moon out of orbit.
The worm?
Star of Companionship, wow. I need to take a minute. Wow. Both of these cards. Stricken from history, unseen in mirrors, unreflected in lakes, or a moon out of orbit, starved of companionship, seeking completion, a fortune lost, a secret uncovered, a bullet dodged. Beginners. Okay. So we're gonna do this way. We're gonna do this card. Crossing this way. Because I feel like your exact situation is a fortune lost, a secret uncovered, and a bullet dodged. Those are your situation at this moment.
Yeah.
And we're going to cross it with quite literally a moon out of orbit seeking completion, right? Like, you have landed safely on this planet, and above you this space station that did not exist, or that might never again exist, like, is crumbling, and you're watching it crumble, and you are confronted with I think there are other, like, modular sections. Like, I think once you have done that, the thing you see is that, like, that other rooms are also breaking off in the sense that, like, because you are connected to the station, so, like, other rooms break off because you thought that plan through, like, because you were connected to it. Like, now there are other rooms breaking off.
My god.
It's still nonetheless just shattering, but, like, at least some of these robots, these beings, these people are escaping. But you are alone watching this.
I think that, like, watching these sections of the ship descend, sort of like a meteor shower almost, find as these rooms find their way to the surface. Like, I know what's on them, you know? I know that those robots are there. I know what they're looking for. And I think it's a little bit of both of Behemoth, which is a herd of giants, bounty to wolf, blight to flora, and an unstoppable monster paused only by heroism. And I think the herd of giants there is these robots that are being, like, that are cobbled together from all of this old tech, all of this antiquated, but because it's fallen out of fashion, unconsidered, unreckoned with tech to this planet. And they know one thing. Well, they know two things. They know that the station and the thing that the station held dear is gone, and they know that I am the reason that happened.
Mm-hmm. That they do.
And I have but one defense from this, which is, if I can get to someone if I can outrun them long enough, and I can take everything that was uploaded into my head and I can sell it, then I have a chance. Unbroken mold, obscure magic made commonplace by industrial might.
God, it's good. Real good.
That's my atropos.
And that's both of our atropos. That is the end of our story.
Well, now we look at the world's atropos to see if it came true.
Oh, grandmother's ring.
No, I don't think a new partnership at Steady Alliance quite happened, but an old grudge.
Oh, an old grudge and a tepid peace. I mean, what has happened now is that, like, these robots have fully militarized, and also their technology has been sold off, and now there's a Cold War.
Yeah.
Like, now there's a stalemate of, like, oh yeah, we've got weapons now.
Yeah.
What an end to the story.
That's Spindlewheel.
Spindlewheel. Love it. So good. Oh my god. What a good ending. Frick. That was really good. Thank you so much for playing this with me. That ruled so hard.
Thank you so much. Yes, I love that so much.
Oh. I'm going to sit for a moment, I'm going to bask in it, and then we're going to wrap up the show.
For sure.
Well, thank you so much for playing. This was a blast. Real quick, before we wrap up, where can people find you, your work, and the Kickstarter Spindlewheel online?
Absolutely. I've been Sasha Reneau. You can find me on Twitter at Sasha_Reneau. You can follow all my game design stuff at tcabbage. You can check out my other work at 22to22.itch.io. There's all sorts of stuff there. There's the Spindlewheel micro games, which are very focused, pretty good, I will say. Like micro games using this system in different ways that are pretty good. And there are some other games there as well. But the important thing is that that Spindlewheel, the thing that you just heard and we just played, is on Kickstarter. And if you thought this was neat, you should go back it at bit.ly/Spindlestarter.
You should. You should go do that right now, because this owned extremely hard. Literally both times we played this on the show, I walked away going like, this freaking ruled. Sasha, thank you so much for coming on the show. This was so good. I had such a good time. But for now, I'm going to throw it over to me in the future so that he can wrap up with the show. Take it, future me. Thanks, past me. And thanks again to Sasha for coming on to the show. That game was really very good. Like, it went in some unexpected directions, and the story took such an interesting shape, and it just became so rich and evocative that, like, I really like Spindlewheel, gang. Like, I really like it. Honestly, Sasha, thank you for reaching out some years ago and saying, like, hey, I'd like to introduce you to this game that I made, because on a personal note, like, it means a lot when people reach out to me like that. Like, I can't always accommodate it. Like, we have a busy schedule. We have about a 4-month backlog at any given time, but it means a lot to me, and I've honestly discovered some of my all-time favorite games, case in point Spindlewheel, because a designer reached out and shared their game with me. Anyway, go on to Kickstarter. Go to bit.ly/Spindlestarter. Back to the Spindlewheel Kickstarter. Get your own deck. This game is really cool and special and interesting, and I can't recommend it enough. Also, go follow T-Cabbage Games at T-Cabbage. Then while you're on Twitter, follow us at Party of One Pod. Like the show on Facebook at facebook.com/PartyOfOnePodcast. Join our Discord at bit.ly/PartyOfOneDiscord, and head to our merch store at bit.ly/PartyOfOneMerch. If you enjoy the show, consider leaving us a nice iTunes or Podchaser review. Honestly, Podchaser is a little better. iTunes is weird, and I don't love it. So leave us a nice Podchaser review. You can also support the show financially at Ko-fi.com/JeffStormer or at Patreon.com/JeffStormer. Or you can support the other podcasts that I produce on the One Shot Podcast Network. That's All My Fantasy Children. That's a character creation, storytelling, world-building podcast powered by you, in which every week my best friend Aaron Catano-Size and I take a listener-submitted prompt. We spin it into an original fantasy character, and we populate a shared universe one story at a time. New episodes drop every Friday-ish at oneshotpodcast.com. And as always, Party of One is produced and edited by Jeff Stormer and Jen Frank. All music for the show comes from the song Infinite Lives by Megaran, featuring the D&D Sluggers. And the Party of One logo is by Evan Rowland. If you'd like to inquire about advertising rates, coming onto the show as a guest, or about press coverage of the show, you can email me at partyofonepodcast@gmail.com. And I'm pretty sure that's it, and I'm pretty sure I have dishes to do, so I'm going to depart. Until next time, thank you so much for listening. Remember to fight the forces of fascism every single day. Remember that self-love and self-care are radical and defiant acts of resistance. And as always, party on, everybody.